This mom cut a slice of watermelon, but the eldest son next to her quickly grabbed it and ate it. Then mom cut another slice and gave it to her younger daughter. But to everyone's surprise, the little girl doesn't behave like her older brother. She turned around and gave the watermelon slice to her dad. Dad smiled happily. Then the little girl came back, and mom continued cutting and gave another slice to her daughter, but the little girl gave it directly to her mom. The mom felt grateful and gave her the biggest slice. Unfortunately, this girl only got 2 likes. This mom cut a slice of watermelon, but the eldest son next to her quickly grabbed it and ate it. Then mom cut another.
This boy thought that the popular group of teenagers would humiliate him, but what they did instead left him completely stunned.
Hey, hold up. Is it Andrew? Austin. Right, Austin. I suck with names. Give it here, man. Check this freak out. Here you go, bro. As well.
This dad wanted to play a game with his daughter. He started preparing himself before the game because he didn't want to lose the money. But when he finally was ready to play, nobody expected this to happen. This dad wanted...
This time for Africa.
This guy was just walking down the street when another man suddenly came up and ripped off his shirt. But when he started approaching the next guy, he had no idea this would turn into the biggest mistake of his life, because that man turned out to be a professional jiu-jitsu trainer and did this. This guy was just walking down.
This boy was rejected from his school prom, all because he had Down syndrome. But when a kind couple heard his story, they did something unforgettable. They invited him to their prom instead, and the moment he walked in, the staff gave him a standing ovation. And for the first time in his life, he felt truly seen.
When this little boy was about to step over this woman's feet...
This is a horrible ad, don't bet.
When this little boy was about to step over this woman's feet, this Karen was about to make the biggest mistake of her life, because when she refused to move her legs and the boy politely stepped over them, she thought it was a good idea to turn her inner insecurities onto the kid. But just watch how the boy wasn't gonna let that slide. He comes back with the best response ever.
Not in your rules, you're 8.
This little boy with... This poor boy has a terrible disability. His biggest dream in life is to compete in a wrestling match, and it finally happened. When he got onto the stage, his opponent instantly recognizes what's going on, and he handles the situation like a true hero.
This boy was called to the principal's office and had no idea why. The principal told him that someone was very upset with his behavior and asked him to explain himself. He was completely confused, knowing he hadn't done anything wrong, but it was all just a setup because his sister wanted to surprise him when she returned home from the military. Damn. This boy was called to the principal's office and had no idea why. The principal told him that
This is why you should never mess with the teacher's favorite student. Because when the boy was quietly listening to the lecture in class, after Ronaldo scored a goal...
Dad, what are we even doing?
Working with DoorDash,
This is what happens.
working with DoorDash, we're able to bring in more.
This is what happens when you forget to set limits on a kid's brain.
These children had lost their mother at a young age. Wanting to bring them joy, he decided to cut a section of the inflatable pool in his garden to create a fun experience. The children enjoyed sliding on the water, but this caring father doesn't even get to, like... These children had lost their mother...
I have a question. Why does it matter that the mom died? I don't get it. Yeah, and why is every wholesome story get 2 likes?
At a... Believe me, when this player accidentally missed the ball, he shocked the world. He immediately stopped and realized that missing the ball wasn't his fault. He began inspecting the court, noticing that the ball kept bouncing unevenly. He checked that the ball was bouncing less in one spot and more in another. Then Stephen Curry identified the dead spot on the court, showing that a player truly knows his game, and in this case, the floor wasn't right. Believe me, when this player accidentally missed the ball, he shocked the world.
This guy decided to cheat a little and help the girl win the race. All he had to do was hand her a bottle of water on the move from the car. But he didn't stop there. He asked the girl to move ahead so he could secretly load a few more bottles into her backpack. And in the end, he handed her another bottle and gave her another push. This guy decided to cheat a little and help the girl.
This senior made the huge mistake when he went up against a freshman. You see, they were both playing the musical seat, and the moment the music stopped, the smaller kid quickly grabbed the chair. But the senior wasn't about to let that happen, so he casually followed the kid and attempted to take the seat back. But the younger one wasn't giving in that quickly either. That's when it became obvious that actually sitting down was going to be the toughest part, as they couldn't even stay on their feet. Slowly, the game started turning into something different. Nobody could reach the chair, and the school had to call it off. But this guy wasn't done just yet, so he pulled this move. Just don't try this at home. This senior made the huge mistake when he went up.
This girl wanted to try a cool trick with her dolphin. As soon as she stretched her leg toward the dolphin, the smart animal immediately got ready to catch her foot and balance her on the tip of its nose. The dolphin stayed focused, making sure she didn't fall into the pool so she wouldn't get punished. But what happened next might disappoint you, because the girl couldn't keep her balance and fell. But it turned out that was all part of the act. The dolphin quickly lifted her back up. Unfortunately, this performance only got 2 likes. This girl wanted to try a cool trick with her dolphin. As soon as she stretched her leg toward...
I scored a win.
Сок березовый глоток, тишины послушать волю, тропинки в лес густой, поболтать березкой вдоволь про него и про любовь.
Not shot.
Blowing up, now they say they
You did that on purpose, Flash.
No, but I should have. You better watch it back. I see 2 twin eyes, leave them on the bed. I got 2 big thighs, wanna link the gang. I got red, I got cool, what you want? The Chanel, Balenciaga, Louis Vuitton. She know I got the Fendi Prada when I belong. Give it up, partner. Me a diet rider, I need me the one. I started from the bottom, you can see the way I start. I want all the diamonds, I want that shit to wear time.
One sec.
The op, they tryna lie me, cause they hate the place I'm from. But them niggas don't know me, they just know the place I'm
Why did you
from.
take it from?
I got lots of shorties tryna pull up to my place, but you ain't.
This poor boy stepped inside the restaurant and asked for some food, but he didn't have enough money to pay. So the cashier gave him a chance. She told him to stop the timer at exactly 5 seconds to win a free meal for his entire family. The boy tried his best, but stopping it at the exact time was almost impossible. After 2 failed attempts, it all came down to the last try, and just as the timer hit 5 seconds, he tapped the stop button and luckily won the family meal.
That's crazy.
This is the most dangerous obstacle course, and whoever can make it to the end wins $10,000. Alan! I can't do this. Tanner!
I don't feel safe.
I said, kid.
Look, this mom made a secret hidden room for her son. First, she built a tiny elevator just for him. Then she walked through a small door, and inside that was another tiny door. They crawled inside, and inside the small room, there was another tiny door. Behind that, there was a little staircase, a cute puppy, some toys, and even a tiny washing machine. She did all this for her son, but still this sweet mom only got 2 likes. Look, this mom made a secret hidden room for her son. First, she built a...
Look, this kid was so excited as he was about to slide on what looks like the world's tallest playground slide. As he climbed the rope, he even looked down to see the stunning view. This is what happened when he got to the top. Look, this kid was so excited as he was about to slide on what looks like...
This man had a bad idea. He decided to train his new puppy to protect his son. The dog was doing a pretty good job, but there was just one problem. It all happened in front of his father. This man had a bad...
This girl spots two human statues on the street. To check if one of them is a real person, she sticks her finger inside its mouth to find out. After confirming it's not, she takes a sip of watermelon juice through a straw, and then unexpectedly spits it straight into the statue's mouth. Since the statue needs to breathe, he swallowed the juice. He never expected his job would involve drinking a stranger's saliva. This girl spots two human statues on the street. To check if one of them is a real person, she sticks her finger inside its mouth to find out. After confirming it's not, she takes a sip of watermelon juice through a straw, and then unexpectedly spits it straight into the statue's mouth. Since the statue needs to breathe, he swallowed the juice. He never expected his job would involve drinking a stranger's saliva.
This girl thought it was easy, but it's actually much harder than it looks. Because in this challenge, you have to step on a moving conveyor belt without falling. But most people fail and lose their balance since they try to walk on it instead of standing still. However, this guy used a genius strategy by running all the way to the top. This girl thought it was... This grandpa started chasing the car every time his grandchild leaves his house. He always ran alongside the car with his little steps, waving his hand. No matter what time of the day, he would run on the side of the car just to say goodbye. And as the days went by, his pace grew slower and his steps got weaker. But what they didn't know, this would be their last time seeing each other. This grandpa...
Kobe. It's Kobe, huh?
So my best Philhelm.
This man has insane power that nobody else can compete with. The thing wrapped around his neck is not a rope. Instead, it's a very strong metal wire. To be able to do this requires strength that you cannot imagine. Meanwhile, this man was cleaning trash from the road while this car continued to throw more. So this guy did something that deserves all the respect. Sadly, only 3 people liked his video. This man has insane power that nobody else can compete with. The thing wrapped around his neck is not a rope. Instead, it's a very strong metal wire. To be able to do this